TBHX is a donghua I've been looking forward to ever since I saw the trailer with a character that looks like young Colonel Sanders. You know, the KFC man. I'm still working on the Link Click Season 2 analysis, but I've been looking forward to this donghua. I just had to watch it now and make theories of what might happen. I don't usually keep up with any animations nowadays, so I just had to. If you haven't watched it yet, I highly suggest it, especially if you're tired of the seasonal isekai slop and just want something new and fresh. Now, there's going to be spoilers for episode 1 and mentions of self-exit. To Be Hero X has a very interesting concept in which the world can create heroes through trust and villains through fear. The story starts with Lin Ling, an average guy working for an advertisement agency, presenting his idea to his boss. The idea was shut down and Lin Ling got fired. We find him on the roof of the building where he airs out his grievances about Nice, the number 10 hero. But as he turned around to point his pinky finger at the huge billboard of Nice behind him, because Chinese censorship I guess, he came face to face with the actual hero. Perplexed, he watched as Nice walked past him and fall down the building. Lin Ling was confused and panicked because Nice can fly, why didn't he? Soon after, a woman called Miss J and several bodyguards rushed to the scene. It turns out that they're Nice's PR team. They dragged Lin Ling along for questioning and, through a coincidence, they found out that he looks a lot like Nice. Now Lin Ling has to masquerade around as the hero to keep himself alive. It seems that in this story, anything is possible if the masses believes in it. Because Nice's fan thinks that Lin Ling is the hero, he started to become more like him. His hair became naturally white and his eyes blue. On a side note, this concept is a lot similar to what I have in store for my webcomic. So I am very interested in how this plays out so that, I can build upon it. Because hey, nothing in this world is unique anymore. So I'm pretty sure I'm also not the only one who has this kind of idea with like the masses having beliefs and that powering the world. Because honestly, this idea came to me because of all the girlies talking about manifestation on TikTok. So yeah. Back to the donghua. Nice has a girlfriend called Moon, who is Lin Ling's Oshi. If you don't know VTuber or idol slang, it basically means that she is his idol. This doesn't necessarily mean that he's in love with her, but he does admire her and her positivity. He was the light of his life when he worked the 9-to-5 job of an average Joe. She's like his favorite streamer. The both of them were invited to a talk show and we meet the 249th ranking hero who will be interviewing them. And the first time I saw the guy, I couldn't help but let out the "Chenju? Is that you?" If you've read Scum Villain, you know who I'm talking about. Anyway, the 249th ranking hero is called Enlighter, and he's here to interrogate Nice because he has a hunch that Nice isn't exactly who he says he is. After an ordeal that has the boss who fired Lin Ling earlier come back as a villain, Lin Ling is forced to accept that he is now Nice. Because of that, he was finally allowed by Miss J to return back to his home, the hero tower we sometimes see floating in the background. Nice gets in his bed to sleep, only to be startled when he realized there was a body next to him. It was Moon, Nice's girlfriend. He was about to get out of the room and probably sleep on the sofa when he turned around to look at Moon again, only to realize that she's dead. That was how the first episode ended. I should have expected that because the creator of the series is Lee Hao-ling after all. If you don't know who he is, he's the one who made Link Click. If you watched Link Click already, that should be enough explanation. But if you haven't, well, you should. It's really good. Now that we've got episode 1 summary out of the way, let me talk about the animation and also some theories. The animation took me by surprise, because contrary to what we see in the first couple of seconds, it's not the 2D animation like the usual anime. No, the show is actually animated in 3D with sprinkles of 2D animation here and there. The style of the 3D animation reminds me a lot of Arcane and Into the Spider-Verse, except it's not as textured. It's a bit softer compared to the two. I really love this kind of animation style and I hope we see more of them in the future. During the fight scene against the boss, we see the animation style change completely several times, from 3D to 2D that's reminiscent of old cartoons. I think Lee Howling really likes changing art styles in his storytelling, because he did something similar in Link Click Season 2, where the animation changed to look like that of a storybook. I find it fascinating that this first episode is like an ode not only to Western cartoons, but also to Western comics. Anime does not generally use an art style with such thick outlines. Such outlines is more found in old school cartoons like Dexter's Lab or the Powerpuff Girls. While you can argue that the screen tones are because of manga, I actually think it's more of a nod to moire and how they often appear in old school comics. And again, Euro comics are usually associated with the West, with DC and Marvel and stuff. I don't have anything else to say about the animation since it's only the first episode, but I want to talk about my favorite scene. When I first saw this, I thought, what in the K-drama is this? Nice? Why are you flirting with Lin Ling? Knowing that Lee Howling worked on BLs before, Yanguan Shifu and Spirit Pact, I'm looking at you, I know that he knows exactly what he's doing. Now, for theories. I find it interesting that Moon is not shown at all in the opening. It's very strange since they have her design. It will be easy to add her into the opening when all the other heroes are being shown. My theory is that she's extremely relevant to the story, just like Emma on Link Click. It would be funny if she's not actually dead and she's either the mysterious cloaked figure or the cyborg who held the tower in their palm. You're probably gonna write that Miss J is not featured in the opening either. Same with the boss and Enlighter. Well, here's the thing. Miss J isn't a hero, and the boss and Enlighter are minor antagonists. They're not the lover of Nice or the Oshi of Lin Ling. This is why I'm very suspicious of what's going on and why she's not in the opening. Also, while I was writing this, I keep wondering if Lin Ling is actually our protagonist or if we're going to follow X in the next episode, because X is featured a lot in the opening. But storytelling-wise, I find that an odd thing to do. After all, why would you invest the viewers in Lin Ling and his struggle to become nice in the first episode if you're going to completely change gears in the next one? No, I think that X is going to continue to work in the shadows. We might catch glimpses of him here and there doing heroic things. Probably, maybe. If you haven't watched my opening analysis yet, I would highly suggest doing that because I explain my thoughts about X over there and yeah. Anyway, I want to know more about Nice before he died, because I think that Lin Ling is going to start becoming like him mentally as well. After all, physically, he's already a copy of Nice thanks to the belief of his fans. They emphasize Nice's perfection so much in this show that I'm a little skeptical of him and his relationship with Moon. Nice is a lot like an idol, and if you know what it's like in the idol industry, you'll know that their fans don't play with relationships. Idols lose their careers with dating rumors, and since their powers rely on public trust, wouldn't it make sense to keep your private life private to keep fans happy? But Moon and Nice are very public to the point that Enlighter thinks their relationship is fake. And while I think Enlighter seems like a petty hero, he does seem to hit the nail in the coffin when it comes to the truth. Also, it seems to me that Moon is not used to Nice being so gentlemanly with her. In fact, she was leaning back while he was waiting for her hand. The fact that in the next scene we see them sitting on a stage while the crew behind them arrange everything for broadcast just screams that everything about their relationship is fake. There's no blushy moment, not even when Nice called her his goddess. She also didn't seem surprised when Nice confirmed that she's not his girlfriend. Honestly, in this whole scene, she just seemed confused. We don't know much about Nice, but from what we've seen so far, he seems like a very flamboyant guy with narcissistic tendencies. Like, there's a huge statue of him in his own home. Even Lin Ling said it's in bad taste. So, do I think Nice might be gay or bisexual and is using his relationship with Moon as a PR stunt to keep the perfect image? Yeah. Did he actually commit suicide on his own accord? No, I don't think so. When he fell down, he let out a yelp. It could be for comedic timing, sure, but it could also be a hint that the fall was unexpected. Maybe he was distracted by Lin Ling cause, Lin Ling looks like him, and that's why he gave such a flirty look. Flirting with someone who looks a lot like him seems like something a narcissist would do. But also, think about what was happening before that. Lin Ling was cursing him out. Maybe those negative feelings were strong enough for Nice to lose his powers because he was so close to him. And maybe it's just me turning my yaoi goggles on and theorizing because it's fun. Either way, I'm looking forward to the next episode of TBHX. Will I analyze the next episode once it's out? Maybe, if I got time. I'm working on my webcomic, so time really is tight at the moment. Anyways, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!